Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're watching me for the first time, my name is Lizzie. You're welcome. For new subscribers, thank you for subscribing, and for old subbies, thank you for always coming back to watch my videos. I love you guys so much, and if you're yet to subscribe, please do that, because here on my channel you are going to see lots of amazing stuff that are educating. So today I'm going to show you all how I was able to do this makeup, and the first thing I did was to use face wipe to wipe off the dirt from her face, but that I did off camera. And then I used Miron skin prep, and I love to use Miron skin prep a lot because it keeps the makeup intact throughout the day. And then right now I'm just applying face primer from Zaron. So I'm going to use a beauty blender to just dab that into her skin so that everything sits properly, and even when she has makeup on, it will not break. So at this point, guys, I'm applying this foundation from Zickel, and it's in the shade 0.25. This particular shade goes for all skin types, so I'm applying it, and it's in a bottle. There are some that are in plastics, and then there are some that are in bottles, but this particular one is in a bottle. So I'm just going to apply it. It was almost finished, so it's almost finished, so I just had to use a brush, the tip of my brush, to pick it and then apply on the face, then use beauty blender to blend that into her skin properly. You can see how beautiful that looks already on her. Everything just sat properly and it came out really nice. So you want to go into the hidden corners, like the side of her nose, underneath her nose, where she folds her lips, different areas on her neck, so that the whole makeup be properly blended and it will look really nice. So that was what I did, guys. I'm just basically blending at this point. So for concealing and highlighting, I'm using this concealer from Zaron, and it's about 2 tones lighter than that of her skin tone. I'm just going to apply that on her T-zone areas, like this, underneath her eyes, her forehead, jaw. And then I'm also going to just pick a beauty blender and then blend that in. So while blending on the jaw, you need to ask your client to fold her lips a little bit so that I can go into that inner corner that would not you wouldn't have necessarily gone into if she had not done that. So at this point also, I'm also blending underneath her eyes. So what I usually do is I ask my clients to look up so that I can go into their skin underneath their eyes. Like, I can go towards the waterline, towards the waterline area. Sorry guys, I can go towards the waterline area. So at this point, I also highlighted the middle of her nose and blended that. So I'm also going to highlight this point and also blending. So in makeup, I always say that blending is key. You need to take your time to blend properly so that everything looks good. From what you can see in this video, that her T-zone areas are already highlighted. So right now, guys, I'm just applying powder, and this powder is from my cheek, and about 2 months back it was 7,000 naira in Nigerian money. I don't know how much it is right now, but this powder has really been helpful. It has been helping me for any skin shade that comes into my studio. I use this particular powder and it works a lot. So I'm applying powder because I want the makeup to last for a long time before I go in with setting powder. So in order for your makeup to last, for it to stay intact, these are just the processes that you need to follow. So I picked up a smaller blending brush, and then I also went into these areas with the powder. I'm not using setting powder yet. I'm going in with powder in those inner, like those hidden areas where the makeup can easily break. So I'm just going to apply powder there. So that's what I am doing right now, guys. So this brush has like two sides. I'm just going to turn it over and contour her nose. I'm just going to contour like this. You don't want the nose to be too dark, so you really need to be extra careful so that it will look natural and fine at the same time. So for highlighting her nose, I'm also going in with this powder palette from my cheek, and I'm using a lighter color to highlight the tip of her nose right there. So at this point, I'm going to go in with setting powder, and I had to change my beauty blender because this particular one is a dry one. The other one I used for foundation, I had to wet it a little bit so that when I blend, everything will just go around her face. It will not create lines and patches. So I'm just going to apply this setting powder basically on her T-zone areas and also underneath her cheekbone. So I'm also going to define properly the bridge of her nose so that it gives me a kind of pointed nose feel. So that is what I am doing right now, guys. Moving on, I'm going to draw her brows, and I'll pick up a spoolie. You can use a spoolie or a mascara wand, and I'm using this got to be glue to pick up the hairs on her brows, like to brush it upwards. And I'm going to use setting powder to highlight the brows also, like this. So I'm doing this because so that when I draw anything on the brow, it will be like prominent, it will come out sharp and properly highlighted. From what you can see that the brows are already highlighted. So I'm going to draw a thin line underneath her brow like this using Carite brow gel, and I'll draw another thin line on top her brow like this. You need to make sure that the brush you're using is as flat, like it can give you this kind of thin lines. So this is what the brow looks like at this point. And right now I'm going to pick up a pencil, and I'm using this Davis pencil, and I'm going to just draw thin strokes on the brows like this, the places where it looks like she doesn't really have enough brow hairs. So you can use any type of technique for drawing your brow. You can use this one, you can use the one you already know, but do whatever works for you, guys. But for me at this point, because I don't use only one method to draw my brows, I use different methods. But for me in this video, this is the method that I'm going to show you guys, and I think I'm loving this method. For quite some time I've been using it, and it has really been coming out so nice. So I'm done with the brows. I'm going to highlight underneath the brow, and I'm going in with the shade of foundation that I used on her face, her shade of foundation. And then at the middle of the brow, I'll go in with the highlighter the concealer that I used to conceal her face, that is about 2 to 3 tones lighter than her skin tone. And then for the front of the brow, I also went in with her shade of foundation. As simple and easy as that. So once you do that, you need to make sure that you pick a beauty blender and blend that towards the lid of her eyes. And then for the top of the brow, I'm just going to conceal that area, but this part is not really necessary. If you've done a good job and you see that, oh, you're good to go, it's not really necessary. So I use her shade of foundation to conceal the top. So right now I'm moving over to the eyes, and I'm using this Zaron eyeshadow palette, and I'm going in with a dark shade of brown for the transition area. I just cut that into the crease area, and then so that the underneath her brow will look natural, I went in with her shade of her own color right there. And then I'm going to blend the transition area using a pink shade from this Violet Vase eyeshadow palette, and also go in with an orange shade right there underneath her brow, just so that everything looks really, really nice. And then I'm just playing with colors right here, and I'm using a black shade on her crease area like this. This is the crease area. And then I also went in with this deep, I don't know if this is green, but she called this shade magenta. So I'm going in with this particular shade, but I'm going to use green because I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. So I went in with green, and what I'm doing basically at this point is just blending the whole thing so that it looks nice and cool. So I'm going to go in with this shade of green 2 on the crease area. I'm just going to go in with this shade of green and just apply that properly. I'm basically tapping. I'm not really dragging. I'm just tapping softly, just calmly and smoothly. That's what I'm doing. So I'm blending everything properly at this point. And I'm going to line her eyes using this Carite black liner, and just basically raising the tip of her lid so that I can go into those hidden corners. So that's what I am doing. I so much love the patience of this woman. It was her birthday, and she was really, like, she was excited, and she was ready to wait until I did something really nice on her. Although this makeup did not take much time as it should have, but she loved the outcome. She was super excited. She just so much loved it, and her vibe was so nice. So I wiped off the setting powder from her face, and at this point I'm just applying mascara. I also used a red shade of eyeshadow underneath her eyes. I'm sure you must have seen that I used a red shade of eyeshadow underneath her eyes. While applying your mascara, you need to be extra careful so that you don't make the whole eye makeup look dirty. What you need to do is you should be picking her hairs underneath the eyes and not tapping the mascara on her skin right there. I hope that is properly understood. So right now I'm just doing the necessary things that I need to do. And for blush, I'm using this shade of shadows from Violet Vase eyeshadow palette. I'm just going to apply blush on the both sides of her cheeks like this. And I'm also going to highlight using this gold shade of Zaron eyeshadow, and I'm highlighting her cheek and taking it towards underneath her brow right there so that it would be highlighted. So moving on to the lips, these are the colors that I'll be using from my cheek lip palette. All I'm doing is just applying some nude shades right there. I went in with orange at first, and then I went in with pink, and at this point I'm just shading the outer corner of her lips and asking her to smudge, like rub her lips against each other so that it will be properly blended. And you know, guys, of course I love gloss. You could actually leave it to be matte, but I had to go in with a little bit of gloss because she requested for it and she loved it. So that is it, guys. So at this point I'm going to highlight her forehead, her jaw, and also her nose right here, from what you can see me do in this video. So right now I'm going to apply fixing spray on her face so that the makeup can stay intact no matter how much she sweats. So this is the before, guys. You can see that beautiful transformation. You can see how clean and smooth and nice her skin is looking. This is the video without no filter. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If it has been helpful, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, share, and also comment in the comment section. See you guys in my next video. Bye.